So I think that there are, at least in my estimation, 5 major trends that arts organizations are facing in our current landscape that have existed for quite some time. The rise of production costs, the decline of private support and donorship, the rise of technology is a major factor moving forward, as well as the decline of arts education, which is incredibly important. The last factor I think that everyone's going to have to contend with is the changing political and cultural climate in America. As an arts organization, especially a performing arts organization, presenting your work involves bodies, lots of people. It's important that those people are, if they're part of a union, that they have to maintain their contracts, that they're paid a living wage. The fact that arts organizations have buildings. This groundswell of capital campaigns that happened over the last 10 and 20 years, moving small regional arts organizations to bigger homes. Now we have to contend with how to pay for the light bill. And so rising production costs are a major concern. The fact that the funding stream right now, there's a lot of competition for funding dollars. So the arts aren't necessarily the only game in town. There's also political donorship, which we've seen is a major competitor to arts funding in the private sector. There's also competition from the university system, from healthcare and health initiatives, social initiatives, these things that are incredibly important, but we tend to be drawing from the same pool of people in order to support them. At the same time, state funding is incredibly competitive and also declining. We don't know where the next round of supporters are coming from. The young donorship for people, millennials, for example, we just don't see them donating to arts organizations at the same level. So that's going to be a concern for us moving forward. This is obviously a time of uncertainty. No matter who you are, I think whether you are satisfied or dissatisfied with the outcome of the election, one thing that remains is that the challenges that face artists and arts organizations existed long before the election, and so we have to address those in a real and sustained way. I do not know, however, what the next 4 years hold. I think that none of us do. And so we have to be mindful about just making sure that if our core values are focused on inclusivity and access and compassion, and making sure that we are sharing our stories with as broad of an audience as possible, that we continue to do that. One working theory I have right now, which completely can change, I think is that the arts as a field is incredibly responsive to the political landscape. Now with this new groundswell of populism that is overtaking America, but also many other parts of the world, I have to think that populism is going to be a major focus of our country moving forward, specifically how we address non-elite forms of art making, non-traditional forms of art making, how we support communities that are outside of urban centers, so whether that's rural communities, whether we address the concerns of those members of America who are economically disadvantaged, who feel disenfranchised, who feel like their voices aren't heard. I think that we're going to see a lot more focus in the years to come about arts organizations who are including those communities in their work, and more so just addressing them organically and making sure that their voices are heard.